So what are the pros and cons for CFA? All right, the pros first, right? Point number one, it is eventually the number one course in the field of finance. If you realize that your calling is finance, or if you're not sure but you want to enter into finance, the best and ultimate course in the world, including India, is CFA. Point number two, it opens up your world to professions such as portfolio management, investment banking, which might require a little bit of MBA probably, but otherwise wealth management, corporate finance, so on and so forth. Point number three, you can actually work along with studying CFA, unlike a lot of other qualifications or even MBAs where you actually have to go for full time for 2 years and stay in the institute, in the campus. And while that has its own advantages, we've seen that those who can somehow simultaneously complete such qualifications and work experience together in a span of 2 to 3 years, for example, you guys have the highest chance of success, because not only do you have a recognizable qualification, but you also have work ex. Point number four, it is not an exam where somebody has to fail for you to pass. So let me explain. If you are in an institute which has limited seats and there are unlimited or much higher amount of applicants for that, everybody you beat, right, that person is losing their seat for you to make sort of your way to that institute. And while that's brutal, it's required for some kind of degrees. However, for CFA, like a CA exam, everybody can give the exam. And of course, they do have a marking system and you have to cross that, but you passing is not dependent on somebody else failing. Point number five, the return on investment with respect to time. Now, CFA on an average, see, technically you can complete CFA in 18 months. Every 6 months give level 1, level 2, level 3. Practically speaking, it takes around 2.5 to 3 years on average. However, 2.5 to 3 years, along with work experience, along with moving up the ladder, is really not that bad for the investment that you'll be making of around 3 to 4 lakhs total. Because if you think about it again, let's say you go to a decent MBA, not the top, a decent MBA college, right? It's anyways going to be 8-10 lakhs minimum in India. If you go overseas, right, and you're not doing it because most people unfortunately do MBA or masters overseas because they want to gain the experience of that whole college life. It's not a real investment in academics. If it is by any chance for you and you go overseas, it's it's going to be 50 lakhs, 1 CR, depending on a 2-year program, so on and so forth. Many of them have their attributes, but I'm talking about the ones which are when you're comparing it to CFA. So the return on investment with respect to time is much higher here. And lastly, it helps you with MBA. See, if you've completed CFA, even level 1, and then you go for an MBA, when you are being placed by the MBA institute, you already have one up over most of your other peers. So these are the major pros of CFA. And now coming to the cons. Okay, con number one, it is not an easy exam. Now, of course, this is expected because it has its value, and it has only value because it's not that everybody can do it. However, I know that some of you guys are, or most of you guys are actually looking for a qualification which has the path of least resistance, meaning you want something which gives you the highest output with the lowest input. Now, while that's obvious, every human wants that, right? Remember that CFA is not a cakewalk. However, it's not impossible. So if you are expecting an easy ride in 3-4 lakhs in 2-3 years to get enter the field of finance, then CFA is not for you. However, if you manage it, your knowledge, your value, your marketplace, your expectation that the market can have from you is extremely high. Point number two, the work experience or the internship, right, that you try to gain if you have, it's your first job. So like you started CFA level 1 or you complete CFA level 1 and you're looking for your first role, right? Now CFA level 1 still gives you a decent role, but there are some times when you don't get the role you want. If you want to get into portfolio management, it's not going to be your first role, right? So you'll have to go through the same kind of grind that CA articles or all of us who've completed qualifications like ACCA and have to have gone through the internship or the work experience route even to get to a charter holder, right? It's not going to be fancy immediately all the time, right? So be open, be ready to work through that pain, because also if you work for a year or two and really climb, from ground zero upwards, that also has its benefit. Many people expect that if I take CFA and I finish it I complete level 1, I'm going to have big four coming to me and giving me a job. It doesn't really work like that. You do get opportunities, but you have to struggle for it. and it's part of the entire experience, right? And guys, if this is the first time that you're visiting our channel, then please do subscribe, and if you've already been visiting us, then thank you so much. Please do leave a like or share the video so that others like you can find us. So guys, I don't think I can think of any more cons. However, if you all have any pro or con that I've missed, please leave it in the comments, and for any other videos you all would like us to make, please leave it again in the comments. Thank you.